Hi, and welcome to Highlander Help. Today we're going to talk about ReadWorks.org. I'm going to show you how to set up an account, how to link your Google Classrooms, and how to find content that will really supplement your classrooms, especially in a virtual world that we're living in today. To begin, ReadWorks is a reading comprehension website that is free for teachers and students to use. And what it does is it gives you free content and curriculum from kindergarten to grade 12 about different types of articles. Most of the articles are science and social studies based. So if you're looking for things like short stories, ReadWorks would not be the correct resource to be going to. It's great in terms of your science and social studies, though. If you are looking for things like short stories, then you would probably be better off looking at commonlit.org because that has more of a variety in that case. But if you're into the sciences and the social study and you want to enhance your students' reading comprehension skills or supplement the text here, this is a great resource for that. So this is my page. I'm already logged in. However, if you were to go to readworks.org, it will have like a sign up button either in the center or this right hand corner. It's free to use. You'll sign in. And then this will be the web page that you'll go to once you're logged in. So first, let's talk about adding classes so that you can immediately link your Google Classroom to and your students to ReadWorks. You go by hitting the button that says Class Admin. For here, you're going to see I actually don't have any classes in ReadWorks this year. We have yet to open through this, so this is where I'm going to show you how to do it. Now, you can either create a new class manually or you can import from Google Classroom. So here I'm going to put import. And then I'm going to confirm my account. And this is just your standard, can they go use Google Classroom? Can they see and edit coursework? Can you manage? You want to say allow. And now I'm going to import my classes. So here you can see my classes are labeled. I'm going to import my English 12 class. What grade is this? So this is 11 through 12. This is good because when you look at content, it will help me look for content grades 11 through 12. And yes, I would want to publish assignments to my Google Classroom by default so that my students are getting access to them. So here I'm going to put import. And now it's imported, which makes it really easy to assign. So now my students are in there, you can see, and we are good to go. I can group my students as well. So now once I have an idea of what my student skill sets are, I can group my students by skill. I can group them via any kind of grouping that works best so that when I assign things, I can assign certain things to only certain groups. Once I have some information about my students, I can actually get a mindset snapshot where it really tells me what my students are enjoying as they read. It'll give me information such as like how my students are reading and comprehending challenging texts. What texts are they choosing if they're independently reading? So this is good if you're going to use this for like an article a day and they get to choose their own text. And then I also have a student library where I will actually be able to access what my students are choosing on their own. So now I have my class set up. I have a couple things I can do. If you get new students or you're losing students on Google Classroom, you want to regularly sync your rosters. So here you can do that. You can change assignment settings. You can lock a class so that no one else can access. If you have a co-teacher, here's where you can add or remove co-teachers. Once the year is done, you can archive classes so you still have their work, which is great, especially if you're trying to find data between each year. Or if you have similar students each year, you can also see like, are they improving over the years? And if you just want to delete a class. So that's kind of like the how do you set this up. From here, it goes down to what are you looking for? What kind of content do we want? So you want to hit find content. All right, so on this page, it's pretty easy to navigate. You have your filters on your left-hand side. You can filter this in many ways. You can filter if you're looking for certain reading passages, possibly you want ebooks, possibly you want step reads. Step reads are differentiated versions of the text. So your step reads are actually less complex versions of the original article. It's really good that for students that are struggling. You have two versions of step reads. You have SR1, which is a slightly less challenging version of the article, and SR2, which is even more less challenging than the original step one. Step two, then not all articles have the step two version. So that's something to also consider, but it's great for differentiating for your students that are lower. Now, for your students that are higher, you have something called challenge articles, which are a little bit higher than your article a day. And then you have boost articles, which are a little bit lower than your article a day sets. So these boost articles and challenge articles are more for your article a day sets, where your step reads are more for all passages. Something to keep in mind. You also have a collection for your ELL students. And if you want to pair text, I know that's one of our standards in ELA, so pairing text is pretty important in order to meet some of those standards that we need to meet. You also have human voice audio, so some of your articles will come with audio, which is really great. So they'll read aloud in human voices, while the others will kind of be more of a computer voice. So there is that difference. You have activity type. So this is great if you kind of know you're trying to target a certain skill. Maybe you're targeting inferences, maybe you're targeting vocabulary, maybe you want like a variety of questions. So you might want a full question set where they're practicing multiple kinds of strategies, and then also will scaffold the important information for you as well, which is nice. You also can break your content down by grade level. Again, the topics are pretty much science and social studies. You also have some special collections. So you'll have some about emotional and social learning, some about holidays and events, and then there's also these featured partners, which are kind of like the museums and stuff. So that's kind of cool too, if your students are interested in those things. And then you have three types of text: nonfiction, fiction, and poetry. For the most part, you're going to see nonfiction. That's kind of just basically what I've noticed. Again, you can also decide by Lexile level as well. So let's say I'm going to assign my 12th graders a text. I'm gonna filter down by grade, and I want to really focus on inferring or inference skills. And then I actually get an option. I can talk about author's purpose, main idea, theme, and I know that some of my students maybe struggle with main idea, so I'm going to pick that one. I want to see what's available for my students. Oh, and I want to get rid of this American Museum because I don't need that. So here, unfortunately, they don't have this for me. So let's see if I get rid of main idea. I know I have stuff for grades 11 through 12, so I can start to go down and see what they do have. Now I can limit this more. I can play with my filters some more. Maybe I want to look for poetry instead. Let's see, do we have anything? We do. So I do have some poetry, which is great for, again, your ELA, because I could not stop for death. That's a common one. We have quite a few here. So maybe that's the one I'm going to do. All right, so now I've decided, okay, let me look at my article here. I have a passage. I have the ability for my students to read, listen to an audio. And the nice thing about ReadWorks is you can actually slow down or speed up the audio. So if you have a student who needs to work a little bit slower to comprehend some of what they're reading, they can slow it down. Say you want students to get a feel for a certain text, maybe you want to speed it up too, right? Like you want it to be sped up. They can do that. Those are options for them. You can see, obviously, the text, and the nice thing is it actually gives them the vocabulary. And if they click on it, they get the definition. So this is great for students learning new vocabulary, or just for students who might not know what the word scarcely means, or civility. So that's an option. It also gives me on this site some related text. So that's also really great. It does tell you how many words. It tells you the grade level. So again, you might want to do something similar like that. If I go here, I can see the questions it's going to ask. So here are the full questions. As you can see, there's many multiple choice, and they do go with your standards, but then there's also some short answer. Now, that's my full set. If I do my express set, we're actually going to be taking out the short answers. Okay. To say this is exactly what I want, I'm ready to assign. I can do a few things. I can assign straight to them. It'll link into their Google Classroom. I can print if I want hard copies. This is, again, great for your students with accommodations and modifications, or if you want students to annotate on the text, you can print it out, and they can annotate right on it. You can also put it in on your whiteboard or projector view so everybody can see it in your classroom. So now I'm going to say, okay, I want to assign. Here I have some options. I can assign the audio. I can assign, if I want the full set of questions, which again is the also multiple choice plus the short answer, or the express questions. I would pick down from my Dropbox what class. So this is the only class that I currently have in there. And then I would pick either whole class or specific students, or if I have my grouping, I can do groups. I'm going to publish to Google Classroom because that's what my platform is that I'm using. I'm going to put the start date and the due date, and then I would hit assign. Once you do that, that's automatically put onto your Google Classroom and students get it. On the student end, all they have to do is click on the link and it's automatically attached. So they would just click on their Google stuff and it's in, and they can start the assignment. Once they finish, you would hit assignment and progress. Although I don't have any, but here it would tell me how my students are doing, things of that nature. Okay? And that's it. That's how to use ReadWorks.